everyone, Pratima here. So today I have the all-new Infinix Zero 45G. It has launched in India for some 25,000 rupees after all the bank discounts, and for that price, I believe the Infinix Zero 40 has a lot to offer. Just like last year's Zero 30, this year's Zero 40 also brings some of the cool camera features that are mostly only found on flagship phones, making it one of the most interesting mid-range phones this year. But first, let me talk about the design, since I really think Infinix has done an A+ job with the design this year. Just look at this violet garden color option that I have here. It looks quite elegant and also feels so nice when I'm holding it, which is all thanks to the Gorilla Glass back and the curved sides. It's a little bottom heavy than I expected, but besides that, I must say this is an incredibly well-made phone. And I like how Infinix has included an official IP54 rating to handle some light splashes and IR blaster to control your TV and other home appliances. Infinix even ships this gorgeous grippy case inside the box itself, which is very neat, and like the design, the Infinix Zero 40 also brings a fantastic OLED display as well. It literally has all the recipes you would want to cook up a nice looking screen. A smooth 144Hz refresh rate, check. 1300 nits of peak brightness for comfortable outdoor viewing, check. And a high 2300 Hz of PWM dimming so that you don't get headaches from screen flickering, double check. It also has excellent colors and contrast, and even though the Infinix Zero 40 does not have an official HDR certification on Netflix, it plays HDR videos almost perfectly well, with great tone mapping to balance the highlights and shadows in any given scene. So all in all, I have had an absolute blast looking at the screen. Its stereo speakers aren't too bad either. Infinix says that they have taken some help from JBL to tune these speakers, and I found it to be quite decent for watching a show or listening to some podcast. It does sound somewhat thin to bring out the details and the energy in most types of songs, although that's not a deal breaker in my opinion. But I really wish Infinix had gone with a stronger, more precise vibration motor here. Plus, you might also notice some touch delays on this thing, so I suggest you turn off the heavy animation from developer options to resolve this issue. Alright, so now let's talk about the performance, and here we get the MediaTek Dimensity 8200 Ultimate chip, which is anywhere from 20 to 30% faster than the Dimensity 8020 on last year's Infinix Zero 30. This has been paired with LPDDR5X RAM and UFS 3.1 storage, and I like how its base variant ships with 12 gigs of memory and 256 GB of storage. And overall, I am really happy with its day-to-day performance. It feels fluent all around, and this XOS skin on top of Android 14 is quite reliable as well. There are a bunch of bloatware apps that come pre-installed, and the overall design here is not as refined as the one you get with OnePlus or a Samsung phone, but again, that's not a deal breaker. By the way, you also get some interesting AI features on device here, like AI eraser thing that lets me get rid of anything that I don't want in a photo, a ChatGPT backed voice assistant called Folax, and AI wallpaper, which is exactly what it sounds like. I can even quickly summarize an articles I am reading with just a few clicks, but I've got to say none of these things are new or groundbreaking features in any way. Infinix has, however, improved its software update game, since the Zero 40 has 2 major OS updates and 3 years of security updates to look forward to. But I just hope Infinix will also work on delivering timely updates this time. Anyway, for gaming, this phone does not support high FPS gaming yet in both PUBG and Mobile Legends, which is weird because Infinix's own gaming focused phone, the GT20 Pro, has the same exact MediaTek chipset, and that one supports 120 FPS gaming. And I also noticed that in something demanding like Genshin Impact, it got rather warm, and there were also some frame drops after like 10 minutes into the game. Now, don't get me wrong, these are still relatively better results than what you get on phones with the Snapdragon 7 Gen 3 or Dimensity 7300 chip, but seems like Infinix has deliberately tried to differentiate its two phones. But if you care more about cameras than gaming, the Infinix Zero 40 is much ahead of the GT20 Pro. It brings the same 108 megapixel HM6 main sensor and the same 50 megapixel JN1 selfie sensor as last year, but there is now an upgraded ultra wide angle camera with a higher 50 megapixel resolution for more details. And for the price, the Infinix Zero 40 does take nice looking photos with noticeably punchy colors. I am particularly impressed with how sharp and detailed the images look from its main camera. Its 3x digitally zoomed in shots come out equally lovely, although this 108 megapixel camera struggles to maintain white balance every now and then, which is something its ultra-wide angle camera does shockingly well. It definitely can't manage dynamic range that nicely in challenging conditions, but this 50 megapixel ultra-wide angle camera is still much better than the 8 megapixel sensor we get on other phones at this price range. The Infinix Zero 40 also shoots good portraits with good details and sharpness even when you are indoors. I noticed it can get inconsistent outdoors, mostly when you're shooting against the sun, but I can't complain much. Likewise, I am happy with its selfies as well. They come out with good skin tone and exposure handling. I also managed to take some nice low light photos with this phone, that too without enabling night mode, since it tends to make the images a bit brighter and warmer than necessary. I also compared its cameras with the OnePlus Nord CE4, which after a lot of updates is currently my best camera phone under 25,000 right now, and I found that the Nord CE4 handles white balance, contrast and dynamic range slightly better on most occasions, but where the Infinix Zero 40 is street ahead is in the videography department. This guy can now shoot 4K 60fps videos from all of its 3 cameras, making it the only phone in this price range with this particular ability. So that's one of the reasons why Infinix is pushing vlogging so hard here. However, I must tell you that its 4K 60fps videos aren't that suitable for vlogging because the videos turn out simply a little too wobbly in this mode. Even the ones from the main camera, which has optical image stabilization. It takes care of things like exposure handling, dynamic range and audio pickup pretty well, so if you're serious about vlogging, you will still want to get a decent budget gimbal with the Infinix Zero 40. The 4K 30fps videos are a notable step up when it comes to steadiness, especially once I switched to the ultra steady mode that engages electronic image stabilization. I am still noticing some movement jitters at 4K 30fps, but with a steady pair of hands, you should be able to get nice videos at this frame rate. Oh, by the way, I can also switch between the main and the ultra-wide angle lens when shooting videos on this thing. Alright, switching over to the front, you can shoot at 4K 60fps yet again, but the footages are not very stable. The exposure management is good enough, but then again the footages come out shaky. So turning to the 4K 30fps option, you get the ultra steady mode here, but even so the stabilization does not improve much, even though the footages come out a little cropped. Okay, so what's left? Oh yes, the battery life. So with its 5000 mAh battery, I have easily been getting 6.5 to 7 hours of screen on time on average here. That's like a full day's worth of battery with everything in the mix, including gaming, web browsing and using the cameras. And unlike how the Infinix Zero 30 had terrible overnight battery drain, I am happy to report that that's not a problem with the Infinix Zero 40. And it fills up pretty quickly too. Infinix has downgraded the charging speed from 68 watt to 45 watt this time, but 1 to 100% in 1 hour, that's not bad at all. There's even a bunch of different charging modes that you can choose from, while it even supports 20 watt wireless charging now. So all in all, the Infinix Zero 40 is a fantastic phone under 25,000 rupees that gets a lot of things right. From this premium design to a gorgeous OLED display, excellent performance, decent battery life and great cameras, Infinix has more or less nailed what a mid-range phone should be like with this guy. The only thing I just hope they improve with an update is the stabilization in 4K 60fps, because that's supposed to be the USP of this phone, right? So everybody, that was all for my full review of the Infinix Zero 40 5G. Do let me know in the comments what are your thoughts on this device, and while you're there, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit that notifications icon. Till then, I'm Pratima Adhikari and thank you so much for watching.